Hey everyone, welcome back to Producer Nerd. I'm Darren Mullan and I'm here to mix another track for you. Hopefully we're going to have some fun, learn some stuff about Logic. I've been working with Logic for a long time, since it was on the PC as well as Mac. It was owned by eMagic. I think in the 90s I started just out of Notator. And so I've been with this program for a long time. I'm not the best at it, but I certainly are experienced. I work with it every single day. This is my little man cave. My 6-year-old boy's on holidays. This is my assistant Finn. And he's over there on his own little rig. So today we're going to mix a Hscc track that's recorded live here in my room. It's Englishman in New York, the Sting cover. So this one's a very tricky one. It's definitely different to my other mixes. It's got a few challenges. So I want to dive straight in and show you, you know, this is the data, and show you the video as well. So I'm going to pull in the raw video. These are the iPhone recordings. These guys here are basically shot straight off the iPhone using a DJI gimbal, DJI Osmo Mobile 2 gimbal, shot by Pat McBride. It's an iPhone 11 Pro using Filmic Pro app, the Filmic Pro app, which basically locks off your white balance and your autofocus and things like that. So, you know, normally iPhones are on such auto white balance, and everywhere you move them, they're forever changing. This locks those off. That's the Filmic Pro. It's a very cool app if you're using your phone for more pro photography and video. Filmic Pro. It's a very cool app. Now this is the raw one. I'm just going to drag it in to the Logic Pro program and let it go up the top here. Extract the audio track so that I can see the audio track and just line it up with the take here. So let's just have a look at the big picture here. So it's got a little bit of rambling at the beginning, probably pointing and swearing and stuff. None of us want to hear that anyway, right? It's probably Con's fault. Let's get all the way back here. Find the beginning. I think it would be about here. 1, 2. Yeah. So there's our snare there. So if I can just make that match up with that. Now I'm dragging the actual video element. Don't drag the audio of it. You'll notice that it is locked up here. So that is a SMPTE lock, basically locking it and linking it to the video. So if you were to drag in another video, then that audio file would stay in the session and it would move with the new video, which is a little bit weird, but I'm going to actually drag this and make it late. This is moving in frames, just moving it a little late, because by the time the drum hits bang and it hits the iPhone and gets processed, it'll come out a little late. So I think I can mute that audio now from the phone. Hey, do you want to hear it? This is what the phone hears. I'll turn it up a bit here. Remember, there's no monitors. In-ears only. Just like that. We're using little Behringer monitors, powered monitors. I've got one over here, and there's one up on top of the piano, just so that the keyboardists can hear each other. And that's about it. There's a guitar amp inside my vocal booth, Sam's guitar, and that's just got a 57 on it. Jason here is playing the soprano sax with a 58 right in front of it, pointed away from the kit, of course, as much as I can, but that one's going to have some bleed. Now, in every other video in the Hscc, I put the drummer over in the corner where Dave and Sam are, next to that big bass trap in the corner. And some of the flog from the drums pours into my vocal booth, and also that acts as like a bass trap, basically. So it sort of sucks a lot of the boom out of the drums that are subsonic and sort of junky. So it makes the room sound very, very tight and controlled. But when you've got a drum kit like this, right in the middle of the room, you got all sorts of problems. Now, remember, we've got no monitoring for vocals. That's how I get my separation. But I mean, like, this is going to be a bit challenging because I can get a great drum sound. Drums are going to have lots of everyone in them. Notice I've put the overheads higher than usual, mainly because Brad is singing and I didn't want him to look like the devil horns, right? And I could have went over like this, but hey, I just like my XY sound. And he was in the middle of the room. So I've lifted them up, which means it's going to hear more of everyone. And so they're above his head. And they're very good condensers. They're the Shure KSM 137s. As good as just about anything in small diaphragm condensers you can buy. I definitely swear by them. They're fantastic. So look, I think everything else is dynamic. We're going to have problems with bleed in the drums. We're going to have problems with every other mic with drums bleeding into it because the drums are right in the middle of the room. Let's get on with it. This one could take a while, right? Now look, if you are getting, if you're watching these videos and sort of getting anything out of it, if you're learning anything, if you think my channel is worth it, why don't you give me a click down the bottom and subscribe? It all helps, right? Got to keep the kid in school. So, if you see any crazy edits, I'm not pulling a Swiftie. I'm not flicking over to auto-tune. I am probably cleaning up a mess or putting out a fire. I'm sure that you won't start any fires, will you?
No.
No, he won't. Okay, he promises not. Let's listen to the data raw. Everything in. Kicks, snare, there's a rack and a floor. Here we go. Overheads. Listen to those overheads. One of them's a little bit softer than the other visually, so I'm just going to press the gain and just make them so that they look pretty even. Now, one of them's got a lot more bass in it. See how all that little meat in the waveform? The hits are about the same, but all of that other stuff? That is because that's the one pointing at the bass amp. It's got a lot more meat in the sound because Colin's bass amp is just to the bottom left here out of shot. So, and that's sort of pumping across the room. So right into the kick drum, right through all of the drum mics. And yeah, thanks for that, Mr. Bassman. Okay, our bass is straight out of the Laney Nexus head. Just set on pre, so it is quite hot. It's coming through. Well, it's not too hot, but it's definitely a great healthy waveform. Then we've got guitar here. This is Sam's guitar amp with a 57 on it. My keys, which is my Korg Chrome EX. So that one's Dave's Kronos has two different stereo lines he's given me. So my Chrome only has two outputs. His has four, at least four. It might even have six. But he's given me four outputs. That's all of those little jacks out here. And I've got those through a bunch of DIs coming through two stereo tracks. Okay, so that's the keys. Then we've got saxophone. Not too bad actually, but it has got bleed, right? And once I EQ that and add stuff, I'm gonna need to probably volume draw around that. All those snare drums, you know, I mean, that's a feature, that sax. So then you've got my vocal mic. So I'll just...
I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York.
And con as well.
No, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien.
And then once you add Brad's,
I'm a legal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York. No.
Better give him an output. What do you think?
No, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Now that microphone's got actually not much bleed. It's probably got the least amount of bleed, the least amount of drums in it, and it's right in front of the drummer's face. That's Brad Pillane there singing and playing. Very talented young man.
Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Now, Brad's got great pitch too. He's a fantastic singer. He hates using in-ear monitors, so he's not doing that in this case. He's just one of those crazy freaks who can really sing great without hearing himself. You know, like the pros do. When you get on stage and something happens and your fallback's terrible, and your fallback's terrible, and you can still sing and perform in time. So, you know, that's basically, you know, he's one of those guys. All right, so we've got all the elements here. I think that maybe what we need to do is probably jump in and instead of doing the drums and everything first, I want to go backwards today and I'm going to work from the vocals backwards because of this bleed problem. I'm going to start by just volume drawing the vocals.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, so we're going to start down the bottom and I'm just going to start it by just grabbing all of these and start them, you know, low. These guys can start low, right? Saxophone, that can also start low. Darren starting low, Con's down low. All right, so that's sort of basically where we're going to go. So we've got saxophone, my vocals, Con's, and Brad's. And I'm going to sort of fly through. The sax I'll probably do last. Let's do these three here. Zoom in a bit more. All right, so here we go. Every time I see a little gap, I'm just going to dip. And I can see that that is a snare drum. There's some breaths in here that Brad will take, but I'm not going to be too concerned about that because you're not going to notice it in amongst the mix. This isn't, you know, an R&B love song with a chick vocals where you really want to hear that. I don't think that's going to really matter. So there's little... My son has his own little disco light toy in here, so if you hear a weird sound and see a few disco lights flying around, that would be Finlay's disco lights. Would that be right, Finlay?
Yeah.
That's you, okay. All right, so there's my vocal. Push that up a touch. Here's Con. All right, so we're singing here. I'm an alien. Now I can see the snare right there. Let me just change the color of this sucker to something brighter. Right there, that's a snare, right? And I know from experience what a snare looks like. You can see its transition, it's transient, bang, it's straight on, and then then it dissipates. So I see that is a snare. That's not a sound coming from the vocals. That's bleed from the snare. So I can confidently, well, you know, out of my experience, I know I can get rid of that. So here we go. Not everyone's singing perfectly in sync here, but that's live, and that's how we do it. So you can see, I could use my touch screen here, but I'm just doing this rough with my mouse because this is how most of you are going to be doing it. All right, there's basically, and I'll cut my vocals down a little bit because I know Brad has finished singing. I'm not going to sing late intentionally. Ooh, looking too far ahead of myself here, so I'm looking up at the backing vocal. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting out all of the dead air. Well, it's not really dead air. The bits where you're not singing and there's drums pounding through, right? By doing this is going to make the difference, a huge difference, to the way that this mix turns out. Now, I've always, you know, I love doing the drums first and things like that. You know, but I know that in this instance, all of this needs to be done. It's something that sometimes takes a little bit of tedious time. It's not too bad. I'm prepared. Almost there. That saxophone's going to need this too. But the sax isn't, you know, these ones here are great to do all together because we're all singing together. It's harmonies. It's a nice, easy timing of the song. So you know that you can go through. Now notice how I'm pulling this down on a slower thing in case that's a S or something, you know, like there's, I mean, look, I know that that's New York, I'm an alien, right? I know that these, what the words are, but if you've got things with S's, you don't want to cut the S's off. What I normally do is just let the main singer sing the S's and let the backing vocals, I sort of cut their S's off. I'll just slow them down, you know, so that there's not a whole bunch of S's at the end of a note. Lead singer is you really only need one S, unless your vocals really need it. Here we go. Backing vocals. All right, we're into Brad's voice. Now remember, Brad's got the least amount of bleed, but I'm still going to do his vocal here. This goes all the way through to a sax solos through here. Sax solo. All right, here's the vocal starts up again. Still no backing vocals. My son's playing a bit of Arctic Monkeys over here in the background. Arctic Monkeys are so cool. What a great band.
Yeah.
They remind me of Robbie Williams, actually. It's got that sort of British, I love it, British grit and sort of charisma. Just a bit of conversation. All right, we're almost there. So this is Brad's vocal. I don't think I've gone past any backing vocals. I'll zoom out. There we are. I'll zoom out and check them all in a minute. So now I'm just going to basically drop all. So since I saw a backing vocal, and I'll put a little marker on it, I've brought down all the volumes. This is there's a snare drum right inside there. Bang, bang, bang. Don't want that one in. Don't want this one. This is what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of all of those little snare drum hits in the bleed of the mics. Wow, it's going to make... Then I can actually mix the drums using the 6 mics that I've put on the kit. So the drums are mic'd with a Shure Beta 52 on the kick. I'm going to re-trigger the kick. I know some people are going to go, no, just mix it. I've done that before too, but the bass is right up the kick drum's coacker, so I'm going to just trigger it, re-trigger it using my Slate Trigger 2, and then I'll just move on. I'm sorry for those people who don't like that. I just, this is the way I've always mixed the Hscc in this room, because it sounds nice and big and fat, and it gives me more time to focus on the rest of the mix. Remember, we deliver one of these every single week. Every week, a song, and we've been going for about 3.5 years now. So 3.5 years of, you know, weekly videos is a lot of pressure. And I still have a studio and clients and stuff as well, and a 6-year-old. So it's not always easy to be able to deliver that sort of content every single week, but we have been doing that consistently, and that's why I'm here basically showing you how to mix this stuff really in an hour. So it's, you know, and this song here, look, I have gone to Spotify and I've had a really good listen to the original. I mean, I know this song, I have listened to it through my life, Englishman in New York. It's pretty well embedded in my mind, like most of the tracks that we do. I do have a memory of its mix and its vibe and its elements, but just had a little another listen just to, I mean, it's a very studio track. Sting also has, you know, he's doing his own backing vocals. Sting is the best sounding backing vocalist in the world. And, you know, for those of you who are into Dire Straits, you know what I mean. So, look, Sting backing vocals with himself is that lush, airy sound. We're only 3 guys. He's using much more. And so we just have to fill in, you know, and make our backing vocals sound as nice and lush as we can. I'll probably just buzz Con and myself. Wow, we must be getting close to the end of the song. Good thing I've got this very interesting commentary going, you know. I mean, it's a history lesson. And then back when I was a boy. So Sting's record has shown me I must inject a little bit of nice reverb. I must choose a very good reverb. I'm thinking, you know, 1.5 second beautiful sounding. Perhaps I can get the dirty chamber in the Logic's reverb. It's the chroma verb. I think that dirty chamber with a little bit of mids cut out of it is really the one that I need. I think we're here. Are we here? This looks like the end. Oh, I think we're here. Let's just zoom out. Oh, look at that. We made it. We made it. All right. Whoops. Just cut down a bit of that chatter at the end. Let's see. We'll probably want to fade out the bass. We'll figure that out later. All right. So now, just a quick look over to make sure I haven't missed anything. Backing vocals are all seem to be done. Cut out. They're really just up. So you can see what I've done. Manually chopped out the drums in those vocals. All right. Now I'm going to just mute them. Yep. Singing's not worth it. Let's go to the drums. Listen to them right now. Just I have panned the overheads left and right, and the tom, you know, the rack tom a little bit to the right as you see it in the video, and to the left where you see it for the floor. Just the drum mics, 6 mics at the moment. No EQ, nothing. Our kick is nice and solid, a little hot. All right, Hscc Kick. This is my channel. Let me just reset. Okay, so what I do is I limit it just in case the drummer is playing with a little bit too much dynamics. I sort of iron them out so it gets the little tiny dead-ets. I put in a trigger. This is a $100 plug-in trigger 2 from Slate. I have my own Hscc Z1 mic, which is the one I like the best, tuned the way I like it. I've added some 63 Hertz using an R bass, which is a Waves plugin. You can also do that with a sub bass in Logic with 63. I just like the sound, and you know, this one here works really well. And an L2 is a babysitter on the end. In case what I've done to it pushes it past 0. This one here is just okay. You know, I might have broken some rules in the channel. If I've pumped up something a little too loud, make sure it doesn't go past 0 here, because I don't want things to distort. So let's have a listen to the kick now, just by itself. Compared to okay, now I'm just going to move on because I know that that's good. That's the way I like it. I can just adjust its volume later. We're going to snare. This is a 57, an SM57. Let me see if I can, there we go. Now let's have a listen quickly to the overheads. These are the most expensive and very nice mics in the room. Let's have it. Now we'll listen to the snare and the note and the tone of it. There's a high harmonic. So there's your note. When you listen to the snare, the close mic, there's also a which I think it is the tonic note of the song, but I'm going to get rid of it because that particular ring is not, because I'm going to slam this and amplify. I don't want that. That one there is all right. There it is, 481 Hertz. Close enough. I'm going to add some tops. Now, I do have my note, which is around here, 272. So 200 Hertz around here, that's where your snare owns 200 Hertz. It owns it. 200 Hertz in a live mix, that's where the snare lives. Nothing else has a lot of 200 Hertz. Vocals, take out 200 Hertz. Let the snare live there. Anything else that's got too much 200 Hertz in it, just get rid of it. Cut it so that snare can live there. This is where your snare hits you in the chest. This is that's where it lives. 200 Hertz belongs to the snare. Right there. This is probably a little bit too big for me. I'm going to put a limiter and squash this a little bit. I'm going to basically just turn it up, limit it up against itself, right? Let's have a listen. In between here, I'm going to put an R bass, just like I did on that kick drum, and I'm going to just use the 80 Hertz default, and I'm going to just put a little in. Now I can hear the bass. Oh. All way around here where the bass is, right? I think I could almost cut some of that out. I mean, look, this is 100 Hertz, right? And I'll low cut it. I don't need 60 Hertz in the snare, right? All right, now that's basically a basic snare sound. No, I need it to be a little bit three-dimensional. It's a little bit just, you know, one-dimensional at the moment, two-dimensional. So give it a little bit of space. I'm going to go to the Reverb Space Designer mono to stereo. Now I'm in a stereo track, and I go to the small spaces, rooms, start at the very smallest, just dry and wet, just like that setting, and press play, and let's flick through. Now remember, these reverbs are going to actually add tone to the snare drum, so they're going to change the EQ too. When I find the one I like, I'm probably going to need to go in and EQ the track a little bit more again. So, you know, I probably could put an EQ and then probably a stereo limiter after that, babysitting the output. So let's go through these. So this is just a snare mic, just a 57 on a snare. We're going to make it sound like it's a little bit like your face is next to it, and it's got a little bit of reality. It's got a space. It's this big, but it's bouncing it's not off the walls. It's not alone in the room, but it has a little bit of its own little close space. All right? Very, very short reverbs we're using here. That's not bad. Nope. Nope. 280s. I think that one's, look, it's called a snare chamber. That's 0.4 seconds. It's just, you know, it's 4 foot, right? The sound goes 4 foot, and that's how it sounds, right? It's just, so you're in a closet, right? That's about right. Go to the EQ. There's also woo in there. I don't really want a lot of that clanging. Okay, so there it is. Look, I'm okay with that. That will end up with some reverb on it. Let's just use the reverb now. Bus 1. Rev. It'll be chroma verb. It will, to me, after listening to the original, I reckon, look, Dirty Chambers, I mean, it's a plate and a very expensive reverb that Sting uses, right? You know, record companies, and when you've got lots of money and, you know, you're using 3 kick mics and 4 snares and 15 all around the kit, and, you know, that's not what I'm using here. I've got, you know, a bunch of Shure mics. A UR824 is just a standard USB interface from Steinberg. I'm not using a, you know, anything fancy, no Apollos or anything like that. Okay, Dirty Chamber. I'm just using my ears and just trying to come up with, you know, the solution there. So Okay, it's about the reverb time. So when I can just stop when I hear a snare hit. One and a half seconds. You just got to bump, just one crotchet, doing bump, 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 but just one snare. The length of that is probably just overlapping a little. I think that's pretty cool. You know, I think that for sure, I'll probably just need to EQ a little. Careful with those reverbs, with the mids in your reverb. There's my reverb. That's pretty good for now. I might just tweak it a little, but you know, pretty well set. That's a great reverb. That one comes with Logic, of course. All right, let's find out where this rack hits over here. Gonna flip to mono here. Doesn't sound like much, really, does it? So we're going to go to the VMR virtual mix rack, go straight into drums, rack tom. Have a listen now. It rings a little. It's got a ooh. So let's just play it in there and find that. Okay, so let's find where it hits again. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Go down here to these little pink plugins, the gates that they've got here, and grab the drum one, push it up to half. Probably push this down a little bit because we're listening for a bassy sound for it to trigger. That's enough. So I basically just gated out all of the crap. Add a little bit more tops maybe. All right, go to the floor. Same. I'm gonna go straight to a normal drum floor tom this time. And I'm going to grab that same gate, drums gate. Let's just keep it off for now. Just find a tom. Here's one over here. I love it. Maybe let it release a little slower. I love it. That is it. Now we just put these suckers together. Just bust them out. Bust two. We'll call it toms. I don't even think we even need an EQ. Let's just put an L2 on it so we can just amplify them up a bit, make them a little louder. And we'll add on some of our reverb. Right? Our chroma verb onto that. Let's just hear that. A bit of this over here. Okay, look, I reckon that's cool. Let's have a look at the overheads. We're almost done with the drums. I'm going to group these guys. Overs, just so I can just touch one fader and they'll both move together. I'm going to bus them through to their own bus. So I can just EQ them together. They're the same microphone, or two are the same, and I might not run them quite as wide. I know I'm going to need some reverb. I'm going to go to VMR again, and I'm just going to go straight to the drums overhead. I'm going to flick through the overhead presets. Whoa. Smooth one is the one for me. I think also I want to probably change the, get out the monster. This is a compressor. Let's turn off the one that's there. This is without. Ow! Yeah. Find the happy medium. Oh, that plug-in just, oh, it just makes the drummer's arm just, it's huge. Just, oh, I love that plug-in. You really can use that on so many things. It just adds energy. It's crazy. All right, so let's listen to the drums as they are now, level them up. They sound really good and nice, and you know, look, the overheads to me probably could do with a little bit more of a lift. I'm going to just limit them and bang them right up for a second. They're pretty good. Maybe a little bit over reverb for now, but you know, look, I'll probably pull the reverb channel itself back about 20% before I bounce the final thing to master anyway, because the compression in the mastering is going to bring that reverb up. I think we're done with the drums for now. Oh look, before we do, let's just try one little more trick. Let's duplicate the snare track. I just do that with its other new track with duplicate settings. I just put a D for duplicate and hit the D for me. And so all of this stuff's there, and I'm going to add a triggered snare. So inside here, I've done basically the same as what I've done with the kick drum. I don't need 63 hertz though. I could probably just pull that back a bit. This is adding a little bit of bottom end and an L2 in the end, and inside the trigger, these guys. I wonder if I can see auditioning. Deluxe snares. Now these Hscc ones, I hope I'm saying that right. Hscc drums. This particular one, 7. Top, bottom, overhead, and room, triggering at the same time. Just going to grab the snare, pull it down. I'll probably slice out the little rim shot bit here. In the middle, let's just hear this particular track. This is... Now, Brad plays a little here. Okay, and it's picking that up just nice. So this is 4 microphones in this trigger, right? There's your straight note, there's under the rattle. Just enough, you won't need any reverb with this. and you know, the far away mic, which I don't think I need. So a little bit of. Let's make sure it's in the same key. All right, just tuning up. Let's put them together. No triggered snare. Just gonna put it in a bit. Are you getting all the ghosties in there? You're just plonking that one. Look, I think that snaps up the snare and makes it sound a little better. Let's go to add some other instruments. Okay, bass. Okay. Now a lot of engineers pull out 200 hertz, around the 200, and I'm talking cave like right down to let that snare breathe, and 200 hertz doesn't really sound good on a bass. I agree, but I like to sort of, you know, grab the exact, you know, just below 200 plus. Things like this, not a fan of that. Still going to have some tops, but ever since I had a pair of Yamaha NS10s, and I'd only really use them for mid-range tweaking, because I really just hated them. I hated the sound of them. To mix through are just horrible, and I know a lot of guys mix through NS10s. They're an acquired taste, and I had them for a long time. I ended up selling them because I just really didn't use them enough. But I now use these little Grover Notting CR1s. They're little tiny cubes, and so if I can just pop one out enough for you to see, it's this little cube here. And these guys here are a totally sealed box, and they are, let me plug that back in, they are scientifically designed and built to reproduce all the frequencies that a human voice can make, from about 80 hertz through to, you know, 20K. They're not really huge bassy because of the size of them and everything, but they are the most accurate speakers in my arsenal here. I don't have expensive lot here. I've got KRK V6s. I love those. I reckon they just kick the rockets completely. JBL Control 1s, the ones that you find in every shopping mall and you know, hair salon. Weatherproof, very popular all around the world. Very hard to get a good sound on too, by the way. The beer garden speakers, I call them. And my original Event 2020 Bass version 3s, which are a much bigger cone, 7.5 inch or 7.7 inch, which is really, you know, a lot of the dance guys use, but my control room here is pretty big. Got another 5 meters back here before I get to the back door, and I've got a booth that goes further. So I just require ones that could cover the room. They're a little bit too big even for this room. I'd never go an 8-inch speaker unless you've got a really huge space. A lot of speaker companies selling 8-inch speakers and guys going, yeah, man, it's got to give me so much bass. Don't do it. It's crap. It's because most of you only have a bedroom. Just don't do that, you know, unless you've got, even guys who have big control rooms, don't go for 8-inch. You know, they're using NS10s and stuff, 6-inch. Anyway, I won't get into that. That's a whole new video. So I've got these pairs. I've also got some Cricks, which is an Australian-made high-end theatre boxes over here as well. So I sort of go through them. They're passive. So 3 passive pairs, 2 active pairs, and I'm flipping between these. So for this, down to my little CR1s. If anything, I'll grab an R bass. QR, remember my English, on 80 Hertz. Just to give it some body. Oh, and there's one other thing here too. Remember, I have 63 Hertz as my kick drum center, the body blow, right? Now I'm going to carve out 63 Hertz. I'm going to carve it out of this this bass sound. I'm going to carve it like that. Now look at the stuff, look at it below. I used to actually cut my bass at 70 Hertz to let the kick drums through and not let any bottom end on the bass guitar below 70 Hertz through, but I think that was pretty silly. A mastering engineer once told me that I was a bit nuts doing that and, you know, subsonic, and he was right. And I stopped doing that, but I still think, you know, a bass guitar doesn't need, what, 50 Hertz, 40 Hertz? I don't think so. Personally, I'm not sure. You know, a lot of our mastering guys are cutting it off at 40 Hertz. I mean, who's going to be listening down there in 2021? Maybe when, you know, 99% of the people are going to be listening to this on, you know, earpods or something, you know. Anyway, that's where I'm going to do it. I don't think that sounds any worse. Here's our guitar. VMR, watch this. Guitar, electric guitar. 1 and 2. One's a little brighter. 2 different EQ approaches, the SSL and the Neve. I think this is good though. It's gonna need a slap delay though. Slap delay. Let's go slap delay. What do you think, Finlay? Slap?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A mono bus. And I'm gonna go to the Wave Super Tap, mono to stereo. Mono coming in, splitting it to stereo, get rid of the center, and I'm going to choose Slap Elvis. Oh, that's the setting. Let's hear it with it on. Come on, Lenny Kravitz. Little bit of reverb on the slap. Everything was slapped also. How's that? Add a bit of bottom end, I think. That's Sam Lesky on the guitar there. What a fantastic player. And his amp is just inside the vocal booth behind him, so he can hear it great. Not much bleed in there. That's a really cool. And that's a little rotary effect that he's using there. Very nice rotary sound. Might just grab that little bit of a hair on it. Just tame it a little. I think our guitar's pretty well there. Let's listen to the keys. The piano, my cheap Korg piano. Korgs don't do piano very well, I know. But hey, I've got to go with what I've got. Bit of reverb. In fact, I'm going to give it its own reverb. Chrome Reverb's got a beautiful piano chamber. Might make it sound a little bit more real. Take out some of the mids for the vocals to a little bit of compression. Just to glue it. Yeah, it's still a little bit, still sounds to me a bit where is that? Right there. My 6-year-old's telling me not to put too much reverb on it. He's the next producer nerd, just watch out. Okay, Dave is playing here. He's got a little sort of steel drum things happening. Lots of reverb on that. The pizzicato. I think this guy can probably have some of that Chrome Reverb orchestra chamber. How's that? All right, let's put all of the band together and level it up. So now I've done all this stuff. Oh, I can hear a bit of a buzz there at the beginning. Out of there, out of the guitar amp. Just grab all of the keys. Nothing really happens till over here, so just pull them over here, put a little fade in. There you go. Don't want to, right at the beginning while I was going 1, 2, 3, 4, bzzz, right up the... 1, 2. Now I've got my speakers right down low and in mono. So all of the things that I know are wrong are going to be a problem. You know, the obvious things, they're going to pop out now. I can hear the sax is way too loud. Let's give the sax some reverb. And let's definitely give it some slap. And we'll need to get an EQ on that as we go. I'm cutting the saxophone microphone in between his playing here and turning all the bits down. while I'm doing this, have a listen to the band and see what you think you would do and where the different character little frequencies are coming from, how you would fix it. I'm certainly listening to them now as I'm doing this. My ears are tweaking to a few things. I think the piano I can turn down for a start. Can't turn the guitar up. Okay, here comes the sax solo. A few of these bits want to come up a bit. Little snare pops in between his solo. Pop. And another. Whenever he lets a snare through and he's not playing on it, I'm going to take it out. A little. Oops. These guys breathe like that. It's like they play in a didgeridoo. Just cut out a bit there. Okay, done the saxophone. That was pretty fast. Thanks for hanging in there. Have you subscribed yet? No? Not yet?
1, 2.
All right.
Subscribe.
We're almost there. Okay, vocal time. Let's add in a bit of Brad put a VMR on him. I'm going to just go to the vocal presets here and just flick through them while he's in the mix.
I don't take coffee, I take tea, my dear. I like my toast done on one side. You can hear it in my accent when I talk. I'm an Englishman in New York. See me walking down Fifth Avenue, walking cane here by my side. I take it everywhere I walk. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh,
That's the length of the reverb.
in New York. Oh.
That's the length, the exact length that you want. The closest one to the sound, the dissipation, the right sort of thing, and it's really got to live great on the vocals.
I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
A little bit of slap on him as well.
It matters, make it man, as someone said. He's a hero of the day.
Now watch his little fader down here on the left as it's popping up and down because I've written in all of the things around all of his vocals, right? But you can't hear it that I'm doing that. But if I hadn't, you'd be hearing the drums would sound like awful, right?
It takes a man to suffer ignorance and smile. Be yourself, no matter what they say. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Modesty, propriety can lead to notoriety. You could end up as the only one.
Okay, it looks like the two guys left standing, Con and I. For a start, let's just have a little bit of a
It's
listen.
just like Friends.
Okay, let's have a listen to just my vocal and just put a little bit of EQ on it here.
An Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien. I'm a legal. I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. I'm an alien.
Small sound, hey?
We don't need the commentary. This is my new commentator. Let's hear Con.
No, I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Let's just cut off some of the bottom end here. Take a little bit of...
Seem like sometimes.
Okay, here we go. These guys here are going to be put through their own bus BVs. I'm going to, well, let's put an EQ in case I need to tweak. Let's put a limiter in case I need to ramp it up and slam it a little bit, which is sounding like compression anyway. I reckon I'm going to need to do that anyway. I'll just pull it down 3, pull it down about 5. That'll, you know, create a bit of a squash. Make sure I'm not getting any subsonics in there. Make sure I got a little bit of top end because that's the smiley face of backing vocals. Mid's gone. I can just do that with my eyes closed. Let's add some reverb and wash them out because that's what they're doing, right? Let's hear them now, just the BV bus. Actually, I'll put it in with Brad.
Englishman in, I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York.
Like a colour
Did you get that?
cradle. automatic.
That's right. Here we go. See, school holidays. How's your school holidays?
No matter what
I think that we're good. Let's have a listen to them now.
they say, oh, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm an alien, I'm a legal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York. Modesty, propriety can lead to notoriety. You could end up as the only one.
Now, Patter on his gimbal is turning around knowing that the saxophone's coming up here. He's a musician himself, so he's rehearsed his moves while we've gone through the song, and that was the bit of a shift there to the right. He's about to point at Jaden.
Gentleness, sobriety, reverendness, sobriety, not a candle brighter than the sun.
Now, I chose an SM58 because it would be brighter than a 57. It's a dynamic. It's going to give it some... I've tried a Sennheiser on sax, and it's just way too sharp. But the 58 seems to suit a soprano. Ramping up that solo there. Going to the master. EQing the master now.
To make a man takes more than a license for a gun. Confront your enemies, avoid them when you can. A gentleman will walk but never run. If matters make good manners, someone said, he's the hero of the day.
Now, this is a thing I need to adjust some of the volumes of the sax, but I don't want to do every single one. So I'm going to actually put it through a bus, sax bus, and I'm going to right mouse click and go create track. It'll put the bus track below it. So here's my basic, another volume track for the sax.
In my accent when I talk, I'm an Englishman in New York. See me walking down Fifth Avenue, walking cane here by my side. I take it everywhere I walk. I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, in New York. In New York, if matters make it man, as someone said, he's the hero of the day. And I'm an Englishman in New York. Oh, I'm a legal in New York. Gentleness, sobriety, reverendness, sobriety, not a candle brighter than the sun. day. It takes a man to suffer ignorance and smile. Be yourself, no matter what they say. Be yourself, no matter what they say. Be yourself, no matter what they say. I'm an alien, I'm an illegal alien, I'm an Englishman in New York.
Okay, made my little drawers there for the sax just to keep it, you know, within its realms. I reckon I'm ready to bounce this now. So I've put my VMR down, 1, 2. Pulled everything back, you know, 10 dB.
1, 2.
Added some earth and air. Now this can really make a big difference. Now obviously it's going to squash it a bit if I use this, but this is a really nice little addition to warm up your mix. I especially like the blue one. It's got the right sort of tone for me. It just sounds nice. It adds a little bit. Remember, you're going to reduce your dynamic range, and these little tiny things are going to be reflected in the master. I know what my master's going to do. I know what Lander does to this, so I'm going to be very careful, and I will probably come back with about 5 or 6 different small tweaks to this until I'm totally happy.
I don't take coffee, I take tea, my dear. I like my toast done on one side.
I have a bit of EQ.
You can hear it in my accent when I talk. I'm an Englishman in New York.
And that's about how it is. So that's how my mix is going to go. Of course, the video that I've got up here is just the raw video. I will color grade that and put our logo at the end and sort of then put it back into a blank Logic session with the video on the top and just the stereo mix back from the master. And I'll tweak that one again with more EQ and until I might actually pause the video right now, skip to the master, and let's show you how I do it. Okay, we're back again. We've put this through at a low balance setting instead of medium balance is what I normally do, but low balance just so it's not quite as loud. And so you can see balance low, Lander, Englishman in New York. This is the 6 mix. So I've been through all back here when I first started and ran it through. Now I've gone through and just, I had it first balanced medium before I started dropping it down low. And then these last ones have really got the mix down to where I've got it. I have also gone to I've just added some EQ, just getting rid of a few little things. And a couple of different EQs. And then I've got the L2 set with a 2 dB limit on the top. And I like the loudness, so I've given it back, but I'm not going to let it through past 2 dB because I'm striping a video for YouTube, and you must not do that. YouTube will squash it, and it'll come out terrible. And when people play it on TVs, it will just be a horrible compressed mess. So that's where I'm at. Minus 2 dB if you're going to stripe to video. Found it on Google. It definitely makes a huge difference. And an S imager, which is the S1 is an old Waves plugin. They've had it for years and years. It's beautiful. When you're in mono, it doesn't phase split your thing like your normal stereo spreader plugins do. You can push it really, really wide before you hear any phase difference or twist. So I just want to just give it a little bit of width, and that's what I've done. I've just pushed it to, 20% more. And that just helps because the mastering process monos up a lot of things. So I just like to give it back a little bit of space. So here's how it's sounding.
1, 2.
that snare? How's that Slate extra snare I added? Here's the color graded video.
I don't take coffee, I take tea, my dear. I like my toast done on one side. You can hear it in my accent when I talk. I'm an Englishman in New York.
There you go. Let's get some backing vocals.
In New York. No, I'm an alien. I'm a legal alien. I'm an Englishman in New York. I'm an alien.
There you go. landr.com. I love mastering engineers, and you guys are truly gods and totally out of my league for what I'm mixing, and I'm not a mastering guy. And I have to deliver one of these every single week, and it can get very expensive because we're all working on shoestring budget. So this allows me to just do it cheaper and quicker, and I'm getting used to it. Having the time and the budget, I would prefer to use a mastering engineer every time. And but you know, this is what I do. This is how I do it, and it's the cheapest, quickest way. That's the end of our video. We've mixed this Englishman in New York. It took me even 6 goes at the master by the time I tweaked it and got it back, until I'm happy, and then I just restripe. So that video there, I just go movie, export audio to movie, and it makes a fresh video file with my mix attached. So there you go. Logic is the key to what I'm doing here. Slate, digital, all you can eat bundle. Basic waves, platinum I think I've got in there as well that I own. So don't use auto-tune. I have Melodyne. I do try and tweak a couple of things, but it's impossible when your vocal mics have everything in it. It sounds terrible. I just do what I can. We are making records here, and I am fixing some stuff because I am, producing stuff. This is what, like I said, we're making records, and because these, most of these songs are digitally distributed as well. I hope you've learned something. If you have, please subscribe to my channel. I hope that you don't mind me rambling on about this stuff, because I just speak my mind while I'm mixing, and hope that you can sort of carry on. So from me and my assistant Finlay and studio dog Harley, I'd like to say see you later. See you next time.
See ya next